Let me tell you a story. Imagine growing up just a few blocks from the stadium where your college dreams would eventually come true. That's Devin Neil's reality. Born and raised in Lawrence, Kansas, Devin isn't just another NFL prospect. He's the guy who carried the pride of an entire city on his back. From a young age, football was more than a sport for him. At Lawrence High School, he was already turning heads, dominating on the field with a blend of raw power, quick feet, and a football IQ that was light years ahead of his age. But when it came time to choose where to play college ball, Devin didn't chase the spotlight. He stayed home. He chose the University of Kansas. That decision, it wasn't just about football, it was personal. KU was a program in need of a spark, a rebuild. And Devin Neil took that challenge head on. He didn't just join the Jayhawks, he became the heart and soul of their offense. He ran with purpose, played with passion, and every time he stepped on the field, he gave fans in Lawrence a reason to believe again. By the end of his college career, Devin Neil had etched his name in the KU history books as the all-time leading rusher. That's not just talent, that's legacy. And what makes it even more powerful? He did it all right at home, with his community cheering him on every step of the way. Now, with the NFL draft on the horizon, the question is no longer whether Devin Neil has the skills to play on Sundays. It's about which team will bet on the heart of Kansas. And hey, you, watching this video, if you're the kind of fan who loves seeing local legends make it to the big stage, drop a like right now. And if your heart beats red and gold, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That simple click helps our Chiefs Kingdom family grow on YouTube. All right, now that you know Devin Neil's story, let's break down what kind of player he really is. Because heart and hometown pride are awesome, but let's be real. Production, versatility, and play style are what make or break a career in the NFL. First, the numbers don't lie. Devin rushed for over 3,000 yards during his time at Kansas and added nearly 600 receiving yards to that total. That kind of dual-threat production is exactly what NFL coaches are looking for in today's game. He averaged around 5.7 yards per carry, showing he can be efficient even with a heavy workload, and he wasn't just padding stats against small-time schools. He showed up big in key games like when he torched Oklahoma State with 224 rushing yards and a pair of touchdowns, or when he gave Texas all they could handle. Neil consistently proved he could perform on the biggest stages of college football. Now, let's talk style. Devin's game is all about controlled aggression. He's got great bursts through the line, a natural feel for hitting the right gaps, and underrated balance through contact. He's not a burner, but his straight-line speed is more than enough to turn a broken tackle into a 30-yard gain. And he's got reliable hands, making him a legitimate option on screenplays and checkdowns. Some scouts are even starting to compare him to Zach Charbonnet, that same mix of physicality and polish. Kyle Krabs called Neil a pro-ready runner with strong instincts, while Greg Zuerlein projected him as a day 3 steal with clear upside. The big difference? Devin's coming in with less wear and tear. He split carries early in his college career, which could mean a longer runway in the league. And here's where you come in. Do you see Devin Neil as a future starter in the NFL? Or maybe just a depth piece for a rotation? Drop your take in the comments right now. Let's do a quick poll. Type D if you'd draft him, or P if you'd pass. I'm seriously curious what the Kingdom thinks. And yeah, we read every comment. We've covered the stats and skills, but how would this guy actually fit into Andy Reid's offense? That's what we're diving into next. So here's the big question. Would Devin Neil actually fit in Kansas City's offense? Let's start with the obvious connection. Devin's already familiar with the Kingdom. He grew up just 45 minutes from Arrowhead, played his college ball at KU, and even participated in the Chiefs' local prospect minicamp. He's walked those halls, felt that energy, and probably imagined himself in red and gold more times than he can count. That's not just sentimental. It matters when you're talking about mindset, comfort level, and buy-in. Now, Let's look at the football side of things. Right now, the Chiefs' backfield is led by Isaiah Pacheco, who brings that angry runner style we all love. But behind him, it's kind of a mix. Kareem Hunt returned, but let's be honest, he's not the same guy who lit it up in 2017. Elijah Mitchell has shown flashes but battled injuries. Carson Steele is a promising undrafted piece, but still unproven at this level. Enter Devin Neil. He brings something the current rotation lacks: balance. While Pacheco runs like a wrecking ball, Neil is smoother, more methodical, and arguably more polished in the passing game. Picture him as the guy who spells Pacheco on third downs, lines up in motion, or gives you fresh legs late in games. He's not here to take over the RB1 spot on day one, but he could be the future, especially if KC chooses not to extend Pacheco long-term. And let's not forget Andy Reid loves versatile backs. Think Brian Westbrook, Jamal Charles, Jerick McKinnon, guys who could catch, block, and do damage in open space. Devin checks a lot of those boxes. Plus, there's value in chemistry. Bringing in a player who already understands Kansas City culture? That's rare. He wouldn't just be playing for the Chiefs, he'd be playing for his home. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Pacheco is the long-term RB1 in KC? Or are we due for a changing of the guard soon? Hit the comments and let me know. Pacheco is the guy, or new blood in 2025? And hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that notification bell. We've got tons more draft talk coming your way, and you won't want to miss any of it. Next up, we'll shift the focus from Neil to some of his KU teammates who might also be on the Chiefs' radar. All right, so we've talked a lot about Devin Neil. But what if I told you he's not the only Jayhawk who might hear his name called by Kansas City? Yep, KU has quietly built one of its strongest draft classes in years, and the Chiefs might be paying close attention. Let's start with Kobe Bryant. No, not the NBA legend, but a cornerback who's built a name for himself in Lawrence. He's physical, instinctive, and has that swagger you want in a DB. Think about it. L'Jarius Sneed is gone, and even though the Chiefs have depth, you can never have too many playmakers in the secondary. Then there's Mello Dotson, another corner who's flown under the radar nationally, but made big waves in the Big 12. He's got the ball skills, speed, and confidence to potentially become a steal on day 3 of the draft. Imagine the story. 2. KU corners getting a shot in the kingdom at the same time. That's the kind of underdog magic fans love. And don't sleep on the offensive line. Logan Brown, a former 5-star recruit who transferred to Kansas, has shown real flashes of NFL potential. He's massive, he's strong, and he's played against legit competition. We know how much Andy Reid values a strong O-line. Adding a developmental tackle with upside, that's totally on brand. The truth is, this group from KU represents more than just individual talent. It's a culture shift. Head coach Lance Leipold has transformed the program from a Big 12 afterthought into a legit force, and NFL teams are noticing. That kind of turnaround doesn't happen without pros in the making. So let me ask you this. If you had to pick one Jayhawk not named Devin Neil to join the Chiefs, who would it be? Drop your pick in the comments and let's see who the kingdom is backing. And hey, if you're enjoying seeing more local talent in the spotlight, make sure you're subscribed. We're pushing for 4,000 subs, and every click gets us closer. Let's step back for a second, not to talk stats or strategy, but heart. Imagine the roar of Arrowhead as a hometown kid, raised in Lawrence, trained at KU, steps onto the field wearing Chiefs red. That's not just a cool moment, that's a movement. Drafting a Jayhawk like Devin Neil wouldn't just be about filling a spot in the depth chart. It would bridge two powerful football cultures, college pride and NFL passion. And for a region like Kansas City, where local loyalty runs deep, that's a recipe for something special. Think about it. For years, KU football wasn't known as a draft powerhouse. But now, with Coach Lance Leipold building real momentum and NFL-caliber talent coming through, The identity is changing. The idea that someone could grow up rooting for the Jayhawks and the Chiefs and then actually play for both? That's the kind of full-circle story that brings communities together. And it's not just feel-good fluff. There's a real edge to this. A Jayhawk in a Chiefs jersey would fire up rivalries across the Midwest. Imagine facing the Broncos or Chargers with a local legend in the backfield. You think the fans wouldn't be louder? You think that player wouldn't run with extra fire? This kind of move deepens the emotional connection between the fan base and the team. It tells every high school kid in Kansas, hey, if you grind, if you commit, if you believe, you can make it from here to Arrowhead. And in the Mahomes era, where every season feels like a title chase, adding that local flavor makes the journey feel even richer. So now I want to hear from you. Would you want to see a KU star like Devin Neil wearing number 22 in the Kingdom? Would that mean something to you as a fan? If this video sparked that hometown pride in you, do me a favor, share it with a fellow Jayhawk or Chiefs fan. And if you're all about this type of KC football content, hit that subscribe button, turn A on the bell, and let's hit 4,000 subs together. The future's bright, and maybe, just maybe, it's wearing crimson and blue under the lights of Arrowhead.